this is Dustin Sherman, and me and Scott Stansbury are both here for another episode of Forgotten Freedoms. Hopefully you can join us in for this episode. We're going to talk about a lot of things that's happened here in Anchorage and the stuff that's happened in some of our personal lives and things like that. Welcome, Scott.
Just your resident egghead, that's all.
Well, things have changed a little bit here in Anchorage since the last one, where we've kind of finally hit summer. The weather's getting nicer out. The daylight's getting longer. We have surpassed the full darkness stage. Basically, it doesn't get full dark now until almost like late September, mid-September.
Yeah, I did a Northern Lights tour the other night, and the sunset finally went down. It was about 11:45 p.m., and the sun was already coming up about 4:30 a.m.
Yeah, it's I definitely notice it now whenever it's like 10:30 at night or so. You can still see some sun or still see some daylight in the horizon. Definitely pretty nice and it's keeping the state warmer. We're getting definitely a lot more days where you don't have to wear a coat, and it's definitely a welcome sight. It's been a long winter.
So you say. I like the snow and darkness, so I'm kind of one of those weird people like that. But hey, what do you expect when you're an egghead and love the Northern Lights?
Right. It's something that, I finally got a chance to see the Northern Lights a couple of weeks ago. Got to take some pictures of them with my new phone. And it was actually a really nice thing to see, and I was really impressed with how well the phone actually took the pictures. And the best part about it was there's been a couple of times here the last few weeks where we've been able to see the Northern Lights from Anchorage.
Oh, I know. I couldn't believe it. We've had a lot of solar flares this last 2-3 weeks, and it's just the lights have been phenomenal. They've really been nice out there.
Yeah, it's been something that's been pretty impressive to see. I think a lot of this stuff's coming from the solar activity that we got out by the sun, right?
Yes, that's where it comes from. Is from the sun. It's blasting the earth with electromagnetic radiation, and it causes the ionized gas in the upper atmosphere. It's blasting those molecules. The molecules start vibrating real fast, and as they do that creates heat. Heat creates light, hence the Northern Lights, and we also have them on the South Pole too.
Yeah, it's an impressive thing. If you've never been to Alaska and had a chance to check out the Northern Lights, it's definitely something that you should have on your bucket list. Because if you're in the right area up here and you get a chance to see them, they actually sizzle. If it's quiet enough to where you can hear them, you can hear the static discharge in the air. I was fortunate enough to hear that many years ago when I was in Wasilla, and sitting in a hot tub, and it was super, super cold. I remember it was like December. Snowing on us, we're freezing our heads off, but everything else was nice and warm and cozy, and looking up, and that was the first chance I ever had to see them, and it was definitely something I'll never forget.
Well, this picture behind me, I don't know if you can see much of it or not, but I actually took this photo about 4 days ago.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're kind of blocking it, but no, it's Scott takes some beautiful photographs and does Northern Light tours and stuff. Takes people out and they get a chance to see the Northern Lights. They usually go. Where do you usually take people? It's up north somewhere.
I either go to the north or to the east. Most of the time I go to the east to get on the other side of the mountains to get out of the light pollution.
Right. Like I said, there are some places here in Anchorage that you can see the Northern Lights if you're not familiar with the state. Jewel Lake actually is a really good spot because it's pretty dark there. And then you can also go out to where the planes take off, and that's Point Warzenoff, and you can see them out there. You're looking out toward the valley, and what is that? What mountain range is that? That's
the Talkeetna.
Okay, and you can see them pretty good out there. The difference is like Jewel Lake's usually not super busy, and if you can see them at Point Warzenoff, you can usually see them at Jewel Lake. That's what I found out. So, the great thing about it is the special thing about the Northern Lights is whenever you get a chance to see them in red. Reds are rare.
Yeah.
You got to have like a KP 4 or 5 or 6 to get a chance to see those. And up here, everybody's got the KP index on their phones.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they know when they're going to be able to go out and check them out. And unfortunately, now that we're getting more daylight, we're going to see them less and less.
Oh, I know. And sadly, that disappoints me because I love taking clients out and love to see the expression on their face the first time they're seeing them. They're in total awe, just
Right.
absolutely awestruck.
You know, it's something that it's almost like it's one of those celestial events that you just can't forget. Once you've seen it, you almost have to, want to see it over and over again.
Oh, I know, especially when they're as bright as a headlight of a car.
Yeah.
Most of the time they're kind of faint and dim. That's because of the low key index. But the most important thing out of all of the numbers, the KP index, is the VZ. Mm-hmm. That needs to be a negative. If it's a positive number, the lights are not going to show. So if you know anything at all or don't know anything, know that the VZ is the most important thing that you can get out of anything.
Okay.
So
keep in mind, I got a couple meters on my phone. I'll have to keep an eye out for that. So again, there's been a lot of things that have changed here in Anchorage here the last, last couple of weeks, month, whatever you want to say. We've had an election, and with the name of the show being Forgotten Freedoms, we talk about some politics here or there, and most people that watch me and listen to us know who I was supporting. And unfortunately, out of the 5 candidates, or the candidates we had, we only got 2 of them got in there. One of them replaced another person. That was Crystal Kennedy, and that was Kevin Cross. That's going to be an entertaining thing when he gets on the dais. An interesting thing there. And then the other one beat out an incumbent, and that was Randy Salt beat out John Weddleton. And so the other incumbents are sticking around. That would be Forrest Dunbar, Meg Zalatil, and
Chris Constant.
No, Constant didn't run. It was
that's right.
Cameron Verdilla.
Yes.
And so they're remaining, and then we basically picked up 1 seat in the assembly. Cross was favored to win, and he won. So nothing changed in that race. So, and then the school boards, we ended up losing all the school board seats. A lot of that had to do with people that were running that really didn't have any business running, and and it's not the entire thing, but by the time all the vote tallies and everything were done, the ones who really didn't stand a chance took the votes away from the ones who did.
I know.
So this is the second year in a row that's happened, and it kind of stinks. We have to figure out what's best for our kids, and we have to make that decision and hopefully change things around this year. But we have another race that's coming up that's super important. Up here in Alaska, Don Young, the longest serving senator or representative in the country, passed away. He was flying from, I think, Kenai. Was it Kenai or?
No, he was flying back home.
Ketchikan.
It was a Ketchikan.
He had a heart attack on the plane and passed away. And so now there's a election up for his seat, and it's a special election. He was actually going to be running for re-election if he would have survived, and they pushed that election up to like July, I think is what it is. And there's 48, either 48 or 49, depending on who you ask, names on the ballot so far. And it's going to be interesting because we are in the elections are changing. They're going to a
ranking
choice
system.
vote election system. I read into how it works. Basically, they take like the top 5 or they take the top 4 vote getters, and then they do a runoff, and it just ends up being like a huge free for all in the first part of the election. There's a bunch of conservative candidates, of course. There's a few Democrat or liberal candidates. Chris Constant from the Assembly is running. On the conservative side, we have Nick Begich, Sarah Palin, and a few others on the conservative side that are running also. So it's going to be an interesting election. to see who ends up getting through.
Oh, it's going to be interesting to say the very least. And there is going to be some cutthroat ads going out in the near future.
Well, and I went to an event that was supporting Nick Begich, and I was at his announcement. Well, it wasn't his announcement. It was Americans for Prosperity has decided to get behind him. And then the same night, there was a Sarah Palin get-together. And it was interesting to see a lot of familiar faces at both events.
Oh, yeah.
And I was kind of watching, and this is where conservatives kind of get in trouble. And I was watching some of the talking and different friends that I have, that are supporting one or the other candidate, and some trash talk that was going back and forth. And it's okay to have a little trash talk, but we've got to remember what's important, and that's to keep the seat. So we need to make sure that whoever it is that is running is who is best for the seat, but also can win the seat.
One of the things that I think that's going to happen is the money coming from California to support Chris Constant. I think we're going to see a lot of negative ads that are going to pit the conservatives against conservatives. Mm-hmm. And that's when I say I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of really nasty ads coming, because there's a lot of California money that's coming into this state to help Chris get elected.
Right. Well, and, there's this election, and there's another one where Murkowski's going to be in it, and you got Kelly Shabaka is in that one. And Dan Sullivan, I think, is supporting Murkowski, and that's not a very popular choice up here in Alaska. A lot of Alaskans are pretty sick of Murkowski, and they want someone else. But there's a lot of other candidates for that race also. There's I know of one independent candidate. I've actually interviewed him on my show. That's Sean Thorne. Real nice guy. I think he would probably do a good job in there. And I'm not going to announce who I'm backing. Most people that know me probably know who I'm going to back, but there's a few good people that are running for that seat as well, and time will tell to see who it is. But I'm going to vote for who I think is best. I'm going to back who I think is the best. Hopefully, I can get a couple of them on the show throughout the year, and we can see if their opinions are changed or see if their talking points have changed throughout the season. But there's been a lot of developments across the country as far as we've lost the mask mandate now on airplanes.
Oh, I know. And let me tell you what, my gosh, the tours I've had this week, I can't begin to tell you how many tourists that are here just thrilled to freaking death that we have no mask requirement on planes anymore. Right. They are just tickled beyond. I mean, you just can't imagine what they're saying to me in the car and all of this other bit. They're so happy and excited.
Well, you could literally say it's a breath of fresh air.
Oh, it is a breath of fresh air.
If you've flown in the last 2 years, I've flown a couple times. You go down to California and things like that, and sitting on an airplane for 6 hours. And trying to breathe in your own breath, and airplane oxygen is crap anyway, and then you're in there breathing your own breath in. It's not a fun adventure.
Oh, I know, and let me tell you, I'm probably going to start flying again because I refuse to wear a mask on a plane. I'm just not going to do it, and so, but now I just might.
Well, that's the thing is. Our leadership in Washington, D.C. think that they know, what's best for us and everything else. And I heard something the other day, and I told this joke and got some good laughs out of it. But did you know that Depends is now the official sponsor of Congress?
No, I didn't.
Yep.
Wow, that's a new one.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because they just can't keep their shit together. So that's my that's my joke. But there's another one that goes along with that, but I won't say it on here. It's amazing. Did you see the Easter Bunny thing?
Oh yes,
Biden,
where they pulled Biden away because he was about to start talking blabble again.
No, there was a point where the Easter Bunny snuck up on him.
Oh yeah,
Scared the crap out of him, and I mean, he didn't know what the hell to think.
and shoot him away
Oh yeah,
from talking.
and basically ran away from the bunny. I mean, it was kind of comical. It was sad but comical.
Oh, it's sad to. So, I feel sorry for Biden. He's really losing it. You know, his mental faculties are not there. Someone's pulling the strings, and he's a puppet. And I feel sorry for the guy. I truly do. He needs to leave and go into retirement or jail, whichever one suits the public best. But
We're all kind of hoping for the latter, but if nothing else, a retirement home would be good.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't need to be where he's at.
And there's been some things that have come out recently about Hunter Biden. Not recently, we've all known about it, the Hunter laptop.
Oh,
It's making the news
yeah,
round
well,
more.
it's making the news round now big time, and people are starting to go, that really happened?
Oh, yeah. Well, there is some law enforcement in New York that got a chance to look at that laptop, and it made them physically ill.
Oh, I know.
So that gives you any indication. And these are experienced guys that deal with this kind of crap, and that's sad.
And the guy from Congress that actually got a copy of the hard drive and put it into the minutes, it's like, yeah, this is good.
And Jerry Nadler didn't know what the hell to do about that. Did you see that? He was kind of panicking. He was like,
but it's on record now,
Yep.
so I wonder if that hard drive can be FISA.
I don't
Or a
know.
FOIA. I'm sorry, FOIA.
FOIA request. Yeah, you never know.
Since it's public, since it's in the records now, who knows?
We got the mask mandate and the elections and everything else, and me and Scott both have had some health things that have popped up. Scott's has been way worse than mine.
And I've been public about it.
Mine has just been a lot of pain and weird things that have popped up, and Scott's told his story and I've told my story, and we're both coming out of some of our issues. Scott's healing well. He's getting around a lot better. If you'd have seen Scott today, you wouldn't believe where he was at a couple months ago.
Oh boy, isn't that the truth?
So-
You wouldn't have known who I was. I was laid up in the hospital bed for sure.
Well, and even a couple weeks ago, coming over and doing our last podcast, he had trouble going down the steps. And today, when I come over to do this podcast, he was able to get down the steps, no problem. Back up the steps. He's been back to work and taking people out on tours, and it's good to see that you're mobile again.
Hey, let me tell you what. I was proud to prove the doctors wrong because they said I was going to be in a wheelchair 4 to 6 months at best. 3 days later, I'm standing up, and I have Team Jesus on my side. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a Christian and that Jesus is the one who's proven the doctors wrong. And let me tell you, I have been, between physical therapy and all of the other things, I've been pushing the physical therapist to push me.
Right.
And I'm not lazy about doing what they say. They say, hey, do this when you're at home. And so many times a day, I'm doing exactly what they said because I'm going to make myself better quicker. And for those that may not know, it all came about because of a heating pad. I fell asleep on one and got second-degree burns on 60% of my back and lower buttocks. And viruses and bacteria attacked me. My body went septic. I had issues that happened all over the place. I had 12 surgeries in a matter of 4 weeks. And I almost died. I ended up getting 12 units of blood because I was bleeding out. And the doctors told me that literally they were 3 minutes away of signing my death certificate. They were just waiting for my heart to finally stop because they tried everything. Mm-hmm. And then right at the last minute, my vitals started coming up, and slowly I started coming back.
Well, we just had the Easter this last week, so you could almost say this was, the last few months have been your resurrection.
That is absolutely true.
So,
100%.
You're getting a little bit more healthy, and you've dropped some pounds, and you dropped quite a few pounds actually over the course of your sickness and your rehabilitation.
Well, I was actually losing weight prior to that because
Okay.
I wanted to lose weight, and I lost a considerable amount of weight prior to the heating pad incident. And but I'll tell you what, the community rallied together. They came, they helped. I've had so many people help me get through this process. It's been unreal. And I can't begin to enough to say thank you to everybody. Thank you to my church because they helped me as well. People from the church helped, and it was just a huge community support. And then, of all things, Andy Kreiner opened up his restaurant for a welcome back party that was held at his restaurant with great food. Thank you, Andy. I appreciated it so much.
Yeah, you know, it's when that's the one good thing about most of the conservatives here in town is when somebody's in need, we always come out and find a way to support them one way or another. And that's I remember when I had COVID and Angela had COVID and she was in the hospital for a week, and I couldn't leave anywhere. I couldn't go shopping. I couldn't do nothing like that.
Oh, I know what it's like. Yes,
And,
sir.
you know, so I had people were dropping off stuff at my door. I had people from Wasilla driving stuff in. I mean, it was an amazing feeling to know that you have that many people around that care,
Oh, I know.
and you know they're willing to. Some of them were willing to risk getting sick just to drop stuff off.
Oh, yeah.
That's phenomenal, and you know, COVID is a serious illness. I'm not going to lie to you, it is, but it's manageable for most people. And having it several different times and being able to get through it has been kind of an eye-opener for me. I definitely wasn't prepared for it the first time.
Oh, I can imagine that. But it's a horrible disease. It is. It's real. It's horrible. We've lost a good friend, William Topol,
Yep.
to COVID. I lost a good friend, one of the tour operators. That he and I were developing a really good friendship, passing referral business to each other. He got COVID. He was in a coma. They had him in a coma for 42 days before he finally passed. And it was just horrible to lose a good friend like that when you're really developing that business to business relationship. And now that's gone.
Have
know?
you, Scott? And I haven't talked to you about this, but have you got a chance to watch the Watch the Water video?
Oh yes, I watched it. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
So
whoa,
if
whoa!
if you're into biblical kind of prophecies, kind of things, there's some biblical implications to this video. But it's called Watch the Water. It's on YouTube. I can't remember the name.
It's actually on Rumble.
It's on Rumble.
Rumble. Dr. Artis.
Yeah, the doctor's name's Dr. Artis. Smart guy. Started kind of putting some things together that make some sense. And I got a chance to watch it. It's about an hour-long video. But if you get a chance to go and watch it, it's on Rumble. You can look up Dr. Artis and look at his ideas on this. But basically, we've been kind of, in his opinion, we've been poisoned by snake venom.
Yes, he was actually interviewed by Stu Peters.
Yes.
And but I watched the video. I didn't watch it just once. I watched it twice to make sure I didn't miss anything. And everything that he talks about, he backs up with facts and data.
And evidence.
Yes, and that is evidence, and it just blew me away.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that there was another scientist that had come up with some of these ideas. There was a little Asian guy, and it was in was it Philadelphia? I think it was Philadelphia. He was going to go public with it, and the guy ended up getting shot and killed.
Yes.
He got murdered.
Well, no, it was suicide, man. Everything is suicide.
He said shot. Well, yeah. if you're talking
Yeah.
claims, yeah, it was suicide. If you're talking
Yeah.
real life, he was murdered. And you know, so there are other people that are talking about this, and this other guy that died lined up with the same things on their own, separate people on their own, what they've noticed, and you know, there was no 100% proof that it was happening or how it happened or whatever, but the evidence that they had and the data that they had is pretty damn strong that with the drugs that they're giving people to try and supposedly help them or kill them, whatever. It's definitely an interesting, and the companies that have produced like remdesivir also produce anti-venom.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. The one thing that I did notice, and this is a critique that I would have of him, it's not called anti-venom. It's anti-venom.
Yes.
And most scientists or doctors would know that.
Yes. One of the things that, so I have a little bit of medical background. I was an EMT for a very long time, rode ambulance for many, many years. So the stuff that Dr. Artis was talking about, I understood what he was talking about, but he also broke everything down into layman's terms. Mm-hmm. But even then, it made me take pause for a moment and go, he's right. Because, I mean, everything was just being backed up with, he was presenting the data and data and data. And it really makes you pause for a second. And everything that he showed, you can look it up for yourself, and it was true. So it really makes you wonder what's going on out there.
Well, and there was some speculation and stuff that he was talking about that they had poisoned the drinking water, and I don't think that would be. Well, let's put it this way, and this is here in Anchorage, but you remember how the assembly freaked out over Bronson cutting out the fluoride for
yes
30 minutes?
I sure do. Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
Well, one of the other things is people throughout the nation are getting these home COVID tests and running it under the faucets, and they're testing positive the water's testing positive for COVID. What's up with that?
Sometimes truth is different. Truth is stranger than fiction in some instances. We're on a course right now in this country and the state, and where we're heading toward using. You may not get this reference, but I'll tell you where it comes from. We're heading in the position right now where we're going to start watering our plants with Gatorade. You know where that reference comes from?
No, I don't.
The movie Idiocracy.
Okay.
So, for those who have not seen Idiocracy, it's a hilarious comedy. It's kind of a cult classic. But two people get there are science projects. They end up getting put to sleep for like 55 years or something like that, and they wake up in the future, and they're smarter than everyone else there. And in the movie, they've decided to water everything with Gatorade because it's got, I can't remember exactly what the terms were, but it's supposed to be good for them. Drinking fountains are Gatorade, nothing's water.
Okay.
These people that go into the future end up saving the future because you got to have water, man.
Oh, well, yeah, we got to have our Gatorade, too. By the way, Gatorade is not a paid sponsor for this episode.
And neither is Drew Peters. Now, we talked a little bit about Scott's stuff, and mine. I had a lot of people followed me and were supportive and stuff. I had one of my doctors thought that I had MS, so I recently went in for a MRI, and I don't have MS, but it raises a lot of questions as to what's going on. So I went to a chiropractor today, and I will tell you right now, if you don't know who he is, and you need a chiropractor, make sure you go check out Michael Hannafin. The guy did a great job. And he's not paying me either to say that. He's a good friend. And I haven't been to a chiropractor in years and decided to go to him this morning. And still feeling a lot better than I did yesterday. So some people think that chiropractors are the best gift, to mankind. And some people think that they're pseudoscience. But I tell you right now, my back is thanking me for going, and I haven't been in a long time. So,
well, I told you earlier today that I went to a neurosurgeon. What was that? Last week, and she told me to continue going to my chiropractor and physical therapy, and this was a neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
So even there's a lot of doctors that are still, oh no, don't go to a chiropractor. But then a lot of doctors are now starting to see the real benefits of what a chiropractor can do. And I personally like the one I've been going to. He's been able to do a great job for me.
Well, the
And
philosophies in chiropractic stuff has changed over the years. It used
oh,
to be,
it has.
It used to be you just go in, you get cracked, and they'd pop all the air out of your system basically, and get you realigned a little bit, and you're good to go. But now, a lot of the chiropractors now are concentrating a lot more on sports medicine type stuff, and that's kind of what Hannafin does. The overall health of your body, not just your bones and how you feel. And I've had a nerve issue for quite a while on my left side, and it's not quite there. After today, I definitely tell I'm putting more weight on my left foot than I have in a long time. So I must have been unaligned somewhere, and now I'm more upright or something, but my back is better. My alignment, my hips are better. We'll see how long it lasts, but I'm going back again on Saturday to get another treatment. So,
well, I hope things work out for you, because I know with me, my chiropractor is getting me back. I think that's a big part of why I'm making such a good progress, because the neurosurgeon said that he's getting the vertebrae back in alignment, which originally caused me to fall asleep on a heating pad.
Mm-hmm.
Don't fall asleep on a heating pad. It's even a warning label on the heating pad. Do not fall asleep on them. They can put you in the hospital. I'm speaking from experience.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because sleeping even next to electronics is dangerous. We do it all the time. I sleep with a phone right next to me.
Oh, I've seen videos of batteries exploding, and it's not. Don't do it.
We think of convenient things, and we take them for granted sometimes. And unfortunately, when we do that, sometimes they bite us in the butt. Oh, yeah. Or literally, in your case.
Oh, yeah. It bit my butt, that's for sure. And believe it or not, I still feel some of it, because I had such severe burns, and it's taking a very long time for them to heal. I had wound vac pumps on me. It's to promote the skin growth and get the opening to close together. And but I mean, they told me that I was going to have massive skin grafts, but here at the last minute, the wound vac pump started working, and so they did their job. I'm real impressed with the medical facilities, because I was in the hospital a total of 5 weeks. And let me tell you what, the Alaska Native Medical Center, which is where I went to because of part of the COVID protocols, we went into lockdown when I went to the hospital, and they go to a triage system, and so I got diverted to Alaska Native Medical Center. Those doctors are phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
I got to meet one of his nurses at the event at Kreiner's. And she'll verify everything that he went through, and she's a sweetheart of a woman, and I'm glad that she had a chance to keep tabs on my friend and make sure that he was doing well. So it's kind of neat to be able to meet her.
She's an awesome lady.
Yep. One of these days we're gonna have to go out and go shooting.
Oh yeah, below would be a lot of fun.
Yep. So what's your plans for the summer, Scott? What are you planning to get out of this summer?
Well, hopefully my tour business picks up now, because I lost 3 months of work, and that killed me, not from the financial aspect of it, which it did, but it was because I lost 3 months of my Northern Light tours, which I love doing. But my bookings are starting to pick up doing that. I'm also working on actually 3 documentaries, well, 2 documentaries and one other. So I'm going to possibly be traveling the state, going from village to village, taking a book, putting it into a documentary, hour-and-a-half documentary. I'm also working with a good friend, Roger Branson, and we're working on a documentary, or we're going to get started back on it, because when I got sick, it put a pause on everything. On the homeless situation here in Anchorage, and try to come up with real viable ideas and plans. And I was actually talking with my client today. She actually worked with the homeless in Oregon, and they had some tiny home communities for the homeless that are just working great for them. So we're going to get a lot of input and stuff and try to put together a documentary and tell the story from the homeless point of view, because we're finding out that you got the ones that want to live on the streets because they don't want to follow rules.
Right.
Then you got the ones that are having psychological issues, whatever those issues may be. And then another group that we're finding is the ones that just came down on bad luck. They lost their job. They want to get another job, but they're living on the streets because they don't know the resources that are available, where the resources are, and they can't get from point A to point B because they don't have money to get them there.
Right.
So we're trying to bring all of this to light and let the homeless be the ones to tell the story. So we're not going to push any agendas. You know, if they say it's political, it's going to be coming from them. It's not going to be coming from us.
Right.
And but we have a huge homeless problem here in the city. Everybody knows it, but everybody's just been doing this for a very long time. And now that we have a new mayor that wants to really tackle the homeless situation, we have an assembly that doesn't care what the mayor says. They just constantly butting heads for the power struggle. And there's some great ideas, but it's still that huge power struggle that's going on between our elected officials, and hopefully that will change soon. And but then, of course, getting my tours going again. So,
well, you know, talking about the homeless situation, the country in general has had a homeless problem now for years, and it's mainly in the large cities. Obviously, Anchorage is being the largest city here in Alaska. You know, it's almost like the media and everything else puts so much stress on other things rather than humanitarian aid for our homeless people. And, you know, a lot of people do come down on bad luck. It happens. I've met a few of them. One of them in particular at the assembly. And, you know, he had some bad things that's happened in his past, and it cost him to where he couldn't get certain jobs. And, you know, he's trying to make his life better, and he can't get out there and get, you know, a good $25 an hour job. Right. And, you know, in Alaska, $25 an hour will get you a decent living. You can get an apartment, and you can survive on that. You know, you're not going to be a millionaire or, you know, live high on the hog that way, but you can survive. And anything less than 20, honestly, you're going to be struggling up here.
It's tough. I mean, we have a tough economy, and the housing is expensive. Mm-hmm. The apartments are expensive, and with 8.2 or 8.7% inflation right now, it's hitting everyone.
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, let's go, Brandon. Because I do hiking tours out at Matanuska Glacier. So far this year, my expenses have increased almost 40% expenses, and yet I've kept my price the same. But I just like the other tour operators, we're going to have to, because the price of gas, the price of diesel, the fees to get into some of these areas, they're increasing rapidly.
Well, you know, and this is kind of where I was going to go with the news and stuff like that was, you know, the news organizations that are out there now, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, those companies, they have to put news on there that people want to see to get their ratings up, right? CNN is crashing as we speak, by the way. They put an online service, or a Disney Plus service for CNN Plus, and it's only been around for like 2 months, and they're getting ready to shut it down. Yeah. It's not doing well. But, you know, that's the one thing is people are sick of what the news has been feeding us. They're not concentrating on what matters to the people. And, you know, there's a lot of things that matter to us. You know, we want to know where our food's coming from. We want to know, we want to know stuff that matters to us. And Johnny Depp and his marriage thing, that doesn't matter to most of us.
Who's Johnny Depp?
Exactly. You know, I don't really care what happens in his trial. It's no different than OJ. I mean, you know, whenever OJ was going on, you know, that was like the #1 watch program for like 3 months. The O.J. Simpson
Oh,
trial,
I know.
right?
I remember that.
And that was back in the 90s.
I'm guilty. I am guilty. I was one of the ones that sat there and watched it every chance I got because it was the first ever, of something big like that. Oh, we're being photobombed by Duke.
Yeah.
It was.
It's become too sensationalized.
Well, it's unlike the days of like Walter Cronkite or Paul
Harvey.
Paul Harvey. They reported on the facts of what they saw, and then they let you make up your mind what you thought was the outcome.
Right.
Now all these political analysts are telling you what the outcome is before they ever look at the facts, and so it's just backwards.
Well, and there's too much of opinion-based news rather than fact-based news.
Yeah,
and you got people on CNN like Anderson Cooper and I can't remember the one black guy's name, but it's become a sham. And there's been several of them that have come out privately, not publicly yet, but a bunch of them that have come out and they said, we just tell them what we're told to tell you.
Oh, I know.
And if you were to go to like the local news stations, everything's getting filtered down from CNN, Fox News, to these little stations, so that you're hearing the same thing. But if you turn on like 10 different news stations, it's word for word the same crap.
Oh, it's horrible. I mean, I like it when, for example, Newsmax does a little piece on what all of the news stations are doing, and it's just word for word for word for word for word, and it's like, really? Yeah. So who is pushing this agenda? One of the things that was back in when Obama was president, he signed an executive order that the government can push a lie that the news stations can put out there to the public if it's for the betterment of everybody.
That's
that
better
they
known
can lie.
as propaganda.
Yes, and there is a huge propaganda machine right now.
If we haven't learned from China and Russia and all these other countries that do this, and of course most of them are communistic, they want to keep the herd down. And there's a saying many years ago that if you don't ever want an uprising, all you got to do is give the people a circus. And when I say circus, you look at Rome and look at the stadiums and stuff that they built for Rome. They gave them a circus, essentially what it was. Sporting events, things like that. It takes everybody's attention away from what's really going on.
Well, that's basically what's happening right now. Is we got a big circus on our hands right now because everything is such a joke. For example, when you watch when they have a press briefing, and
Jen Psaki?
Yeah, when she comes out and she is just lying tooth and nail, and it's amazing that. And people calling her out on the carpet. Well, we'll have to circle back on that. Well,
yeah, her and the Fox News guys pretty hilarious to watch the back and forth that they have.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, that's some of the updates on us. We've been on here for a little bit. I figured we wanted to come back on and do a podcast real quick because it's the first one me and Scott's done by ourselves for a while, and it is getting kind of. What time is it now?
It's getting a little late, but not too bad.
So.
Yeah.
But look for more of these. I've got some people that are talking about wanting to come on, so I got to get in contact with them. But we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of different things this summer, and hopefully do some podcasts around the city and get more people in and try and boost the show a little bit. My goals for the summer is to work on myself.
Me too.
Try and stay out of the politics quite as much. I'm still going to help out with the campaign.
Yep.
But kind of gear back and being up here for about 3 years now, I haven't had a chance to go out and do any fishing or really do any traveling around the state. So I want to go to Kenai and maybe Seward and I don't know about going to Fairbanks. Maybe we'll see what's in the plans. But
yeah, but there's no fish up there.
Well,
I'll take you. You and I are going to go fishing this year together. I'm going to put you on the fish. I got all the gear. I know where to go, and by golly, we're gonna go put some fish in the freezer this
That
year.
works for me.
Oh yeah, believe me, I'm all about that. But that stuffed salmon I cooked the other night with the shrimp and crab and the cream cheese. Oh, it was good. It was
I'm
good.
sure it was.
But anyway, I'm Scott, just your resident egghead, mostly going to be working behind the scenes. You'll see a little bit of me here and there, but I'm just going to be the one trying to get everything going and flowing with the different cameras and the audio and all this other bit. So,
Well, and I'm pretty good. I can shoot the shit with just about anyone. So
yeah, so that works out. So it's a good combo.
This platform or this podcast is open to anybody that wants to come on here. I don't care if you're conservative, Democrat, what. We can debate or we can just have a friendly conversation. It doesn't matter. It's open to anyone, and that includes people who don't necessarily like me. There's one person in particular that's on Twitter, and he knows who I'm talking about. That likes to badmouth the conservative side, and he badmouthed me a few times and wrote articles about me in his blog. Don't really care. It's something where if we don't start coming together as people and having conversations, I don't care if you like me or not. It's time that we get together and start hashing stuff out.
I think the government used COVID to pit us against each other. So it's no longer neighbors being neighborly. It's neighbors against neighbors. Yep. Oh my God, we got to report you. You're doing this wrong or this. People, we're one country, and we have one flag, the United States of America flag. By golly, I don't care who you are. I'm going to love you for being an American. I'm going to love you for being my neighbor. I could go on for hours, but anyway,
here's the difference between, at least in my eyes, between conservatives and Democrats. Democrats don't like us talking crap about them. We don't like them talking crap about us.
Oh, but that's a fact.
At the same time, I will defend their right to do so.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I may not like it, but I support it.
It's their right as a God-given American, and it's a God-given right that was afforded by God when you were born. And I may not like what you have to say. You may not like what I have to say, but it's my right to say it. So,
yes, sir.
With that said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off for the night. This is Dustin Sherman, and this is my friend Scott. And we will catch you another time.
Have a great night.
Tune in. Make sure you tune in on all the regular podcast channels, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those. And if you want to listen to it in your car, you can do that. This is Dustin Sherman. We're signing out. Peace out, guys.